Welcome to Butterflies of Wisdom, everyone. Today is Friday, as you guys all know. Happy TGIF. And today is Mel Martin and I just speaking. But on March 31st at 11 a.m., I am pleased and honored to be interviewing JJ Virgin. JJ Virgin is she's a New York Times best-selling author, and she's not only coming on to talk about her latest book, The Miracle Mindset, which I'll give you a taste of. The Miracle Mindset is about her son overcoming a brain injury after being left for dead by a hit-and-run vehicle. The vehicle hit him, drove away, essentially, looked at what she had just done, drive the vehicle, and then drove away. So JJ is coming on to talk about mind over matter, and I'm going to ask her a couple healthy eating questions. Where do you think Wynn is going with this? Well, Wynn has a plan. Wynn has a plan to talk to Mel today about healthy eating and about emotional eating, because as you guys know, I escaped back surgery, thank God, by having a higher power step in and saying this is not right. Also, I was preparing my body to have surgery by healthy eating. So, and I'm still healthy eating, even though I'm not having back surgery, even though they gave me a back splint and PT. But I think healthy eating is something that we all should do, whether we live on our own or without a disability or not. I once had a friend tell me a month ago that my mommy doesn't cook for me. It's easier for me to go to McDonald's than it is to cook a homemade meal. Now, granted, there are services out there under the sun, like Blue Apron. I don't know. Blue Apron is the only one I can think of off the top of my head. Google packaged cooking services. Blue Apron will pop up. Everything else will pop up. What Blue Apron does, and no, they don't sponsor this podcast, is they prepare weekly meals for you, stick them in a box, you order them, they get delivered to your doorstep, and then you cook them, essentially. And yes, you can bring your kids into the kitchen. And Mel admitted something to me before we recorded this call that he's going to share with you guys about emotional eating. So without further ado, I'm going to let Mel try in a couple minutes here, and then I'll answer his questions, and then we'll carry on from there.
Well, hello and happy Friday, everybody. Mel here. Now, this is a very interesting and intriguing and very polarizing topic. Anytime you're talking about food and nutrition, I can tell you that in over 3 decades of coaching clients to be the best that they could be, physically, emotionally, and mentally, food is a behavioral science in and of itself. We all learn how to eat based on our social upbringing, social values, family values, everything, and all that. So I think we all are a residue of how we were raised and what our relationship is with food. So I will preface it with that, and I'll turn it back over to you, Lynn, and whenever you're ready, we can start discussing it.
Well, I would think emotional eating is not the best thing on the planet. I almost said the best thing on the planet, but it's really not. And as you guys know, as you guys have seen pictures of me and now in my voice, I am skinny. I am skinny, I am skinny, I am skinny. But through many months of being bedbound as a child, food was my comfort. And a lot of people don't know that. Luckily, I could get up and go to the fridge and grab a bag of chips. Luckily, they were kale chips that I was munching on, and so that helped a little. But food is people's comfort. A lot of times when you see people with G-tubes, all that is sugar going into their system. And so research has shown, and I'll bring this back to Mel in a minute, research has shown that juices help nutritionize the system if you're dealing with a line in directly to your stomach, because most people, and I have a friend that has a G-tube, and his mom did a bunch of research on nutrition and G-tubes. I'm going to bring it on eventually, and we're going to talk about that too, because I'm thinking that a lot of people with disabilities, whether it be physical or emotional disabilities, use comfort use food as a comfort, as a crutch too. And so, as Mel said, he admitted to all of us that he's an emotional eater. So I think what we're trying to instill to you guys is use the cooking services, i.e. Blue Apron, or use a cookbook, or get someone to cook for you if you're in a bad situation and you can't seem to make it to the kitchen, or just ask a friend, hey, can you cook for me one night a week? And yes, they will. And so I'm going to throw it back over to Mel so we can dive deeper into this discussion.
Absolutely, yes. We could spend hours talking on it, but let's look at what the origin of emotional eating would be. Right from birth, you are fed. So if you were nursing with your mom or given a bottle of formula, immediately it's comfort, right? Immediately. And the relationship that you have with food is developed right then and there. I can't tell you how many times, and I don't want to say I'm guilty of this, but I did this too as a parent with my 16 and 14-year-old boys. You know, the very first thing you want to give, you have a tendency to give an infant when they're crying is food, right? You give them the bottle, or you give them you start nursing them, and it soothes them, it comforts them, right? So immediately your relationship with food is about feeling good, okay, before it even becomes sustenance or nutrition. That's immediately right there because of the bond that you develop, especially if you're nursing. Now let's fast forward. You're becoming a toddler, right? Okay, so you're starting to explore your taste buds. Things are going great. Unfortunately, there's some parents out there that continue that trend. They just shove food in front of you, Here, baby's crying. Give them a bottle. Baby's crying. Give them a binky. Give them a carrot. Give them a bread. Yeah. Whatever the case may be, you're giving it to the child. So the child associates feeling good with eating immediately. Now you mix that with your taste buds, and then as a toddler, you're starting to develop your choices. Well, that doesn't taste good. You got to make an ugly face and you spit it out. Right? Or, boy, this tastes good. And then the parent figures it out. Oh, if I want the kid to be quiet, all I got to do is give the kid this. There you go. Now it's a bond again, right? That goes on for the rest of your life. It really does. That's how we develop what we don't like to eat and what we love to eat. Now, let's fast forward as an adult. Myself, I am an emotional eater. There are, there's a few different mental health issues out there, two primarily that are probably prevalent. in society, I would imagine, which would be what? Depression and anxiety. Well, I can honestly tell you, I have a great relationship with potato chips. We love each other very much. I don't know if it's the crunch or the saltiness but there's something about it that just makes me feel so frickin' good whenever I eat it. When kettle chips came to the market, oh my God, when I thought I died and went to heaven. I mean, I was eating Lay's potato chips and Pringles for years, and all of a sudden kettle chips came. And not only did it come, it also came in sea salt, and it came in salt and vinegar, and it came in black pepper and salt and cheddar cheese. And I mean, I'm like turned on talking about it. Just listen to me, you know?
Yes.
So again, food is a coping mechanism, but it's also a great emotional drug. It really is. It is the forefront of emotional drugs. So, you know, over the years, as I have discovered that I have anxiety and suffered from it, I realized I didn't have depression. Depression's not caring at all in basic terms, and anxiety is caring too much. So my coping mechanism was, at the end of the day, I'm freaking out. I had a long day, and, you know, what's going to happen tomorrow, and I'm catastrophizing, and I'm eating a bag of chips, or I'm eating cookies, or, you know, I'm going to go get a burger, or whatever the case may be. And not only that, the amount that you eat. Oh, there is no red light. It's all green light, sweetheart. You're challenged. Big time. Okay? So that's one area of emotional eating. The other side of emotional eating is the discipline it takes to not be an emotional eater. Being in the health and fitness industry, I can tell you that eating right, so to speak, the phrase eat right, is really overplayed. Because what does that mean exactly? Okay? Well, there's many different levels to that definition. If you are trying to look a certain way or reduce your body fat a certain way so that you can appear a certain way in a certain result with lower body fat level and muscular definition, that is a very scientific and detailed type of eating. So that's eating right. If you just want to improve your health, clean yourself out from a cellular level, clean out your digestive system, and just improve your overall wellness, that is a different level of eating right. That's more of the masses. Okay? And then, if you need to eat more, or because you're not eating enough, that's a completely different behavioral science right there. So eating right means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. That's the other side of emotional eating. Either way, your heart and your mind have to work together to really get what you want the most rather than what you want now. Okay, so that's my experience with it. I mean, I am right now. I live a 90-10 rule, 85-15 maybe, meaning that 85 to 90% of my weekly nutritional intake will be very clean. It'll be very low fat, good, solid, complex carbohydrates that aren't slathered with butters and sauces and creams. And then my protein is going to be very, very clean and lean, right? And then I'm going to eat vegetation, very clean. You know, there's no butter on it or anything like that, so it keeps me very lean. I do it for performance reasons because that's another aspect of eating right. If you want to perform a certain way versus look a certain way, those are two totally different things. They kind of intermix each other simply because your body fat level is going to go down as your muscular endurance and density rises, but nonetheless, it's another targeted type of nutrition. So, as a person who, you know, I'm an athlete and I like to run 5 to 15 miles a week. I train with weights 4 days a week, you know, whatever, and I keep myself physically fit, keep myself half marathon ready throughout the year, and I'm a ball player too. That's why I tournament level softball for many years, and at any time I want to get on the field. If we're going to play 3-4 games in a day, I need to have the energy to be able to do that, and plus live this crazy life that I have, right? So I eat that way. Now, that's 85 to 90% of the week. 10 to 15% of the week, I have a good time. That means I'm going to reserve and designate 1 to 2 meals a week, 3 max, where we're going to have a good time. And that's a celebration. And there's an emotional release for that from a behavioral standpoint, and there's also a physiological release in that because I want to jar my metabolism, force it to create enough body heat to break that down, therefore raising my metabolism, right? So that could be we're going out for barbecue or we're going out for Chinese food. The caveat to that is that since you eat clean so much all week and then you subject your digestive system to heavy foods that have a lot of oils and fats, Well, your digestive system is going to work overtime to break that down, and it's not going to feel good afterwards. The aftermath is pretty bad. Okay, so that's where it's kind of hard on an emotional eater like myself, because I get the green light, like, oh my God, this is going to taste great, and I gorge and I eat and I have a great time, and ooh, and then on and all that, and then after the meal, you come crashing down. It just doesn't feel good, and it's uncomfortable, you know. So it's a bit of a weird cycle. I mean, there was a point, I don't know, from Thanksgiving last year up until 30 days ago, I literally didn't stop eating. I did not. I had battered my body so hard in 2016. I ran 5 half marathons. I ran a 150-mile mountain trail event called a Ragnar event, where there was 8 of us that shared and did a relay race of 150 miles through the mountains. I coached 12 to 23 high-intensity interval classes per week and did them. And then I also worked out with weights really hard with my son who's a bodybuilder. So I really put my body through it. And I ate clean, and there were parts of the year where I didn't. But for the most part, I'd say about 75% of the year I did. When Thanksgiving came, it was like, yes, I'm challenged. I mean, there was a reason for it. It was a national holiday. Who doesn't eat during Thanksgiving, right? Oh, boy, I just went nuts. I had a great time. I think I was just so burned out from the year and so tired, and I didn't have any more events coming up, no more half marathons, nothing. I decided I'm just going to eat. I was going to make myself feel good. Also kind of going through some stress. I thought, you know what, it's all good, you know, and I told myself my metabolism can handle it. I can, you know, I'll work out. It'll be fine. And then in December, mid-December, I got a late kind of request to run a half marathon, to be a partner in the California International Full Marathon. So I ran another half marathon that I really wasn't prepared for. I just kind of did it. I wasn't really amped up for it. Well, my body kind of rejected it. I didn't have my best performance because I wasn't fueled right. I just kind of didn't care. And I learned a lot from that. I didn't stop eating up until 30 days ago, until I got to the point where I was like, I don't feel good anymore. I'm completely polluted. And I said, I'm going to go ahead and clean myself out. Got on a nutritional plan to do that, you know, and here I am, feeling great, best shape of my life, 52 years old, and I've made it my mission that this year, for the entire year of 2017, myself and all the clients that I work with, I'm driving this mission so that I'm going to feel great nutritionally all year round. I'm not going to give myself some excuse to eat like a madman and go through these emotional highs and lows. I'm going to feel the successes of practicing that every week, and I have my heart and mind aligned. And on December 31st of this year, I'm going to achieve that and be my best. I turned 53 on August 1st, and I got to tell you, I'm not going to be in poor shape, you know. And that takes an enormous commitment and discipline on my part as an emotional eater. That's pretty extreme, you know. Most people wouldn't do that, you know, but just for me, for my standards as a professional in my industry, I want to lead by example. And that's one of the things I want to do so that I can help others who may be suffering the same thing. They don't have to do the extreme thing I do, but from a performance standpoint, I need to do it. You know, I'm going to train for the full marathon at the end of the year. I've got another Tahoe Ragnar coming up, and I'm probably going to do about maybe 2 or 3 half marathons. And I'm going to work out real hard with my son, you know. So from a performance standpoint, I need to do it. But from a personal standpoint, I want to win this year, literally. I don't want to give myself an excuse for, it's Halloween, let's eat a whole tub of candy. Or it's Thanksgiving, I'm going to eat, 4 pies. No, that's not going to happen. I will designate X amount of food that I'm going to enjoy, but I'll be on a good trend throughout the year. Anyway, I apologize for the ramble, but it's just a very intriguing and important topic to talk about, and that's my experience so far.
That's okay. And I will get on the ramble one of these days about hospital food. And yeah, yeah, and hospital food and back surgeries. And I was almost planning to bring my own food in because I'm like, yeah, that's not going to happen. Well, I'll get on this ramble now that I brought it up. Because, Mel, you brought something up. For those of you that don't know, I am an ex-Kona Ironman triathlete. And so, yes, I had to eat really, really healthy while training, while in Kona, and then the day after, I had a bowl of oatmeal, which did not get taken away from me. And the day before, the first morning, I sit down with my teammate, who wasn't in the triathlon, and my teammate proceeds to take my bowl of oatmeal away, thinking that's not healthy. Now, granted, I have been on a diet ever since we decided to do Kona, but she didn't think the bowl of oatmeal was healthy. And this is the first time I admit that I am and I was emotional eater. I got the short end of the stick on that one. But I wanted to mention that hospital food is not something you want to mess with. And I thought if I needed back surgery, I would bring my own food in. Because when I was recovering in 2006 in the hospital from my original rod surgery, one day they bring me lunch, and of course lunch was the thing I'm looking forward to, because staring at the white walls doesn't help. And I open up the thing, and it's pizza. And I will never forget it. You should have seen the amount of grease on that pizza. And it's, I said, and it was pizza and carrot sticks. I ate the carrot sticks first, and then promptly ate one bite of the pizza and turned it down. I almost called the nutritionist at Children's at the time, and I said, how are we supposed to get kids healthy if you're serving them pizza in a hospital bed and you want them up and moving? And so eating is something that you can either stay skinny with, or you can either go to the all out with. And so I want you to talk about eating in moderation, and then I'll explain how I do it.
Yeah, eating in moderation, I think, has a lot to do with, first of all, what is your goal, right? If you are athletic, you're going to need X amount of calories to sustain your muscle tissue without burning it off as energy as an athlete. If you're a person who runs a lot, you're probably going to eat a whole lot more than a person who doesn't. If you're just an average person who has little to no exercise, then you're going to want to eat based on your basal metabolic rate, which is your ability to burn calories just standing there, So that's usually the first way to do it. Also, practicing how to eat, right? Let's look at the behavior of eating. Depending on where you grew up in the world, most of us have parents that grew up my mom grew up, she was born 1927 or 1934. My dad was 27. My mom was 1934. Okay, so in the Philippines, right? So, and if you're an American, you grew up here, you're talking about coming right out of the Depression, where there was a lack mentality, scarcity, right? There's no wasting. And how many times have our parents said to us, "Don't waste food, don't waste that, eat everything."
Yep.
Be fortunate that you're having that. There's guilt associated with food. My God, if you don't eat it, something bad is going to happen. That's basically the message that a child's going to receive, because they don't have the wherewithal, the emotional intelligence to filter all that and thinking, well, she's telling me this because we don't have a whole lot of resources, and we need to really maximize what we have and value it. And so I am going to eat this and be thankful. No, that's not what a child's thinking. A child's thinking, oh, my God, if I don't eat this, something bad's going to happen. Or I'm bad for not eating it. Or I'm a lesser person if I don't eat it. That is the behavior that's achieved, right? Okay? So again, when it comes to food portions, I think it's behavioral. Now, here's kind of a tactic that we've discussed in the health and fitness industry, and I think it's kind of gone into the nutritional science and medical industry as well. Thinking and listening to your body and understanding how it feels when you eat, right? So as you're eating your food, first and foremost, slow down the pace, okay? Because of the fact that we're an achieving society and time is of the essence, every minute is production-based, right? If you are in the middle of your day and you're not producing, then you're wasting time. Well, eating can be viewed as a waste of time. How many people work and eat through lunch? They're eating right there at their desk. They're eating on the go, right? They have half an hour, basically, in their work day based on their job description and what the company allots them. Half an hour to eat. I'm sorry, but if you got to leave the office, get something, eat it in half an hour, and be back at your desk or on the job.
Oh, boy.
You don't have half an hour. You have maybe 15 minutes, right? Now, I've worked alongside in corporate America. I've worked alongside some guys who were in the union, and I got to tell you, the world stops if you're a union-based employee. If you have an hour's worth of lunch, you're going to maximize that hour. You're dropping everything because the union law says I have a whole hour or I have a half an hour. If you don't work in the union, it's different. You're moving. And if you're in the military, you're shoveling food in you. I remember being, running health clubs in the past where my entire day is based on production. It's all sales, right? So eating was just another activity, just like walking for me, right? I would prop open a food container, or if I got something to go, I'd be sitting there. I would just basically horkle that thing down and inhale it. And people used to say, to this day they say, why do you eat so fast? And it's just a habit. I don't mean to eat fast. I'm just a functional eater. I just eat, shovel it in, swallow a drink, shovel it in, swallow a drink. But as I've gotten older, I have learned to really kind of enjoy it, okay? A little bit of bite here, a little bit of bite there. And I listen to my body, and if I feel full, and this, again, takes on a lot of discipline, try it sometime, guys. Audience, try that. Do you really listen and feel how full you are, and do you decide that you've had enough? Well, what does enough mean? Enough means you don't really need to shove another mouthful if you really don't need to. I mean, do an experiment. Get the normal amount of food that you would put on your plate at home, and slowly eat it. Like if there's 3 parts to your meal, there's the vegetation, there's your complex carbohydrates, which would be your starches. Let's say you have some pasta or some rice or potato, and then there's always usually a protein. You're either going to have a steak, a fish, a chicken, roast, or whatever the case may be, right? Eat equal values of each, one at a time, and see how long it takes for you to actually be full. You have to have some sort of definition in your mind of what full means. It means you're satiated. You can easily say, I actually am. I'm done. I don't need any more. I've had enough. I bet you're going to eat anywhere between 1/4 to 1/3 to 1/2 less than you usually eat. Now let's look at the restaurants. Oh my God. You can go to Claim Jumper. You can go to BJ's. You can go anywhere. I was at, I don't know where I was. Those Coyotes. I went to lunch. I had a business lunch with a friend. I heard him say to the person taking the order, "I'll take the light Yucatan salad." And I had no idea what that meant. I thought, well, that must be light dressing or light cheese or something, right? Our food comes out, and this massive plate comes out with this salad on it. And I go, "So what's light about your salad?" He goes, "This is the light portion." And mind you, I want you to imagine a standard plate, and it is packed with food. I go, "If that's light, what's the full order?" He goes, "Well, it's a little bit bigger plate, and there's a tortilla spilled over to the side, and then it's really mounded up with all the salad." I'm thinking, oh my God, you can feed a horse with that, right? So again, it's value, right? They're promoting value and volume at the same time. And you wonder why America is overweight. We are an obese society, all the way down to our kids, and it's scary. I mean, it's job security for the medical industry, but it's horrible as far as our future, right? Yeah. Okay, so again, if you applied the whole, well, let me see how much it takes me to not, to stop in order for me to be satiated or feel enough, I bet you there's no way you'd even eat a light portion of a Yucatan salad, maybe half. And I asked my friend, I said, that's light? You're going to eat all that? He said, no, I'll end up taking half of it home. Or if I order the large portion, since it's laying in a tortilla, I'll just eat one half of the salad and then wrap up the tortilla in a burrito, and then I take that home thinking, oh my God, so you have a 2-for-1 meal is basically what you have.
Oh my God.
Right? It's a convertible meal. You just roll up the rooftop, you package it, and off you go. You can drive off with it, right? So that's the mentality of value and volume together when it comes to nutrition in the marketplace, because it's such a competitive thing out there with the restaurant industry and the food industry. So it's just a bad mix. It's a bad mix of society. Food as a coping mechanism, as an emotional drug. Your only first line of defense is your own ability to say, I've had enough. Very difficult to do. Of all the sciences, of all the behavioral traits to change, that's the hardest.
I was going to say back to when you work in the industry of teaching, and let's say you manage a class of second graders. So you have, 45 minutes for lunch. Well, imagine if you are the teacher. And granted, I'm a teacher. I did this for the first year in my job. I went to the cafeteria with the kids. I saw how much the kids ate, and then I didn't see the teachers eat because obviously they had to sit at the table with the kids. So after the kids were organized, then teachers had the luxury of getting it organized. And you should see how many teachers looked at me saying, can you help me organize me and organize the kids? And I'm like, I was sitting at the faculty table, and I'm like, nope, I'm sitting over here. You are over there, and your class, I would be happy to help you, but I'm not going to give myself a half an hour and shovel in food just because I want to help you. And I think that's the problem with the U.S. workplace. And I don't know about international workplaces, but I think that lunch hours are way too short. I think lunch hours are way too short. Plus, you're on your phone, which doesn't help. And so, Mel, how do you feel about that? Being, looking inside and outside of house clubs, how do you feel about this shortened lunch hour?
There is probably some cost-benefit analysis study out there. I'm certain of it, where companies are thinking, hey, if we give you 30 minutes and then 2 15-minute breaks, and I think that's it's under a labor law, they're going to feel that that's enough time, more than enough time. How you spend that time is on you. If you're going on social media, on your phone, eating minutes doing that, whatever, they don't care, right? I mean, you've got 30 minutes. If you have to leave the office to go get your food and you're not a type of person who packed your lunch, what are you doing? You're going to the break room. If they've got a vending machine, there's your lunch, right?
Yeah.
Companies get smart. They think, oh, they make vending machines for just about anything. If you want Campbell soup, it's there. If you want chili, it's there. If you want chips, it's there, obviously, right? You know? And again, you really don't definitively have 30 minutes. There's travel time to get to where you're going to go. And then there's the actual sit-down eat time, and then there's the travel time back. Even if you pack your lunch, what do you got? Got to walk to the break room, got to throw it in the microwave oven. That's another 2 minutes right there. You get to sit down and eat. Okay, so maybe you're lucky and you get 20 minutes instead of somebody who gets 10. I don't know. Nonetheless, it's about speed, right? It's about, I got to get back on the clock. Now, I don't know what the percentages of the workforce out there has flexible time where they don't have to look at the clock. Business lunches obviously take generally about an hour to 2 hours, depending on the industry you're in, if you're entertaining a client or whatnot. But if you're a clock in and clock out type of person on a time card, you don't have that luxury. And so to answer your questions, are lunches too short? Probably. You know, I mean, you don't have a chance to decompress. You just don't. You're on it, right? If you're a teacher, I would imagine just like if I'm coaching, I have to make sure my nutrition's on point, because if I got to rifle off 2 or 3 clients or 2 or 3 classes, which takes up 2 or 3 hours, I need to make sure that I'm fueling properly, but I'm already thinking ahead. I'm already thinking of the stress that's going to occur while I'm not eating, right? I need to be able to have nourishment in my body. Some people think about that, some people don't. But the bottom line is your blood sugar level drops, your stress level goes high, and when your stress level goes high, then you're really frying a lot of muscle cells, right? Okay, and you're aging faster. You know, you're burning up a lot of antioxidants. You don't have your defense mechanism just gets weaker. That's the fastest way to age, which is not fueling yourself properly. The stresses of life, interior-wise, as to how you feel and think, matched up with the exterior stresses of your environment, is a bad mix. That's why nutrition is so important. I mean, there's a myriad of reasons why you should eat better, but that's just a few of them right there. You know, if you're under the gun and I got half an hour or 10 minutes or whatever, case in point, my sons, my poor boys, right? If they bring a hot meal to school, and I like to prepare like rice and chicken for them, they literally got to run all the way to the lunchroom and beat everybody else because they got one microwave. One microwave in the entire high school for the students. So if you have 20 people in front of you knocking out 1 minute, there's 20 minutes of your lunch. And I didn't even know this until weeks later. My son said, it doesn't matter, I'll just eat it cold. I go, what do you mean? The whole point is to have a hot lunch. He goes, no, I can't because there's one microwave and I'm not going to stand there for half an hour for my food to get heated up. I had no idea. And it's sad, right? Already it's taught to you when you're young.
That's just sad. That's just
sad. It is sad.
Now,
here I am thinking, preparing these glorious meals for them, and they're eating it cold, right?
How old is your son? 14?
I have 2 boys that are 16 and 14, and I make these really nice rice and chicken, rice and steak, meatball, the whole thing. And I'm thinking, man, I make these really great lunches, and I give specific instructions. Crack the lip open, 90 seconds, it's hot and good. And then one day they just casually said, well, I can't make it to the microwave soon enough. It doesn't matter. I don't know what brought up the conversation or the comment. It's all good. I'll eat it cold. It's still good anyway. I'm like, what? Cold? No, that's not the whole. If I want to give you a cold meal, I'll make you a freaking sandwich. You know, the whole point of the Tupperware container is to insulate it, give you hot food.
Yes.
Right.
And
I was upset. I really was upset. I was like, you're not getting the full effect of all this that we prepared. What's the point? And they said, Papa, there's a long line. If there's 20, 30 people, think about it, do the math. 1 minute to heat up your food, 20 people, there's 20 minutes. You're standing in line for your turn. It's horrible.
Yeah. Same thing with my cafeteria. Same thing with my cafeteria.
Right. What's the point, right?
I went into my first year of teaching, as I said, and I'm like, nope, I'm coming home and having lunch. That's why I work from 9 to noon. Now know my secret because I want a full hour to eat my lunch, or at least a half an hour. I don't want 20 minutes to eat my lunch. Even though I love the kids, I don't want that stress of the kids asking me, can you open this? Can you open that? And it's difficult. It's difficult in corporate America because we're trying to juggle not only corporate America hats, but parenting hats and trying to feed our kids the nutritious meal in the world. But sometimes we don't have time.
Right. You just don't. And that really sucks. I'm sorry.
Yes.
It does. I mean, you just look at the obesity epidemic in this country, and there's so many different levels to why that is, right? From, a capitalistic society where growth and volume and choice and, quality, all that, and competition just lends to bigger and better things that's shoved out there in the marketplace. And then you look at just the laziness of it all. Exercise is just not promoted, wholesome foods are just not really promoted. It's just sad. It really is. There's a million different ways to look at it. You could talk about it for hundreds of hours. But I don't know if it's repairable. I honestly don't.
Diabetic, the diabetic epidemic, yes, we'll bring an expert on to talk about the diabetic epidemic. I'm sure Mel has one in this network, and I have one that happened to be my family. And the diabetic epidemic is huge in this country. And I feel like doing a podcast episode solely on diabetes because it's huge in this country. And what corporate America is doing to all of us is not nice. And that's why I decided to be a part-time teacher into the II because I'm like, nope, you're not getting me on 20 minutes lunch breaks, no matter how hard you try. And I have a physical disability, so what I have to I don't have to prepare my food in any special way by any means, but what I have to do to just sit down and have a meal, I have to consciously think about what goes into my body. Well, give me 20 minutes, I could do it, but it's not going to be pretty, and it's literally not going to be pretty because I don't have the dexterity to cut my own food. I need someone to cut it. I mentioned obviously good in the book here. I can't serrate sandwiches. My bite in my mouth is too heavy. So I don't like sandwiches. People know that, and people know that now on my podcast. So give me 20 minutes. I can do a 20-minute meal, but I can't. Shorter than that, I can't. I mean, it's like, really. And all these equal opportunity employers are wonderful, but when they put us on the same time clock as everyone else, it doesn't make a pretty picture for nutrition purposes. And so I would say to you guys, just try the best you can to avoid McDonald's, to avoid Starbucks, and to avoid all the fast food places, and try for all the parents and teachers listening out there to pack your kids' lunches. I don't care if they have to go down 20 minutes early and escape their friends and say, I have to go nuke my lunch. But that's going to be the best plan. And if your son or daughter is on a 504 plan or a IAP and they're diabetic, I know this, you can request that the child have food in the classroom. And as part of their IEP and of their 504 plan. But it's really a sad epidemic that we're dealing with, not only corporate America, but we're dealing with diabetes too. And eventually we're doing a diabetic expert on this podcast, Mel and I, to talk about diabetes and to talk about how to curb what we should do and what we shouldn't do. I mean, as you said to me the other day with my health situation, once you cut open, you're never the same. Once you gain weight, it's hard to get it off.
Right. Yeah, it's, taste is another thing when it comes to food. You ask somebody to reduce the amount of food they eat or alter it for the sake of reducing their sodium intake or to eat leaner, you're usually going to give up taste. Now, there's a school of thought of nutrition out there right now that's pretty strong and popular called macro eating, meaning that you're just understanding what your macronutrient needs are by the number of grams per day. And I'll just explain this in a really basic way, where if you understand what that is, and it could be based on your basal metabolic rate, it could be based on your weight, there's different formulations for it, you can actually have your fun foods as part of your diet, but you're also going to have to make up for it by eating cleaner foods and leaner foods. So it's eating by macros. If you ever hear somebody say, "Well, I got my macros are dialed down. I know exactly how many grams of protein I need to eat, or grams of carbs, or how many grams of fat I'm allowed throughout the day," you're robbing Peter to pay Paul, basically. Does it work? Sure it does. The thing is, find a plan that works for you. If it's a published plan, Weight Watchers, Paleo, Atkins, whatever, there's a reason why it works, because you follow it, okay? If it works for you, do it. South Beach diet, I don't care, whatever, or just the basic fun seafood diet. If you seafood, you eat it, right? I don't know. Everybody everybody has a different relationship with food, and it boils down to being focused on what you want before you really get what you need now, right? What is the most that you want? That's usually a bigger goal and a bigger mission than it is something that you want right now. Okay? So that probably applies to food the most, because, if you're thinking, well, I want to lose weight, or I want to feel healthier, I want to be able to run faster, that's a specific path. But if you got a chance to go eat some pizza right now, and you're hungry, and your blood sugar level's down, and you're like starving, and all logic goes right out the window, then you're in trouble, right? So be prepared. Be prepared. Know what you're going to eat ahead of time. Meal prep. There's a lot to it, and if you need to learn how to do that, just hit me up, and I'll give you all the information to do so. It's not that difficult per se, activity-wise. It's challenging behavioral-wise. That's it.
It's not that difficult to not stuff at McDonald's, or it's just challenging to think about, my body's a temple, what do I put into it? But if we think about it, we only live once, and I'm about to turn 30 years old. Now, granted, I have my bad days, but I am pretty dang healthy for having cerebral palsy, because I eat really, really, really healthy. And today I had bananas, and I had blackberries for breakfast and a latte, and then I had pizza for lunch, which leftover pizza. But on the occasion, I eat pizza. It's not every day I eat pizza now.
Mm-hmm.
And so,
Right.
and then I try and eat salad as much as I can. I know I should eat more salad. Yes, I know we should eat more salad, but I try and eat salad as much as I can. And starting in June, I'm actually putting myself on a salad-esque diet because I need to eat more salad. And so that's with this conversation, I've decided to even eat healthier with my 30th birthday coming up because I want to be in best shape in my 40s and I want to live a productive, healthy life with a physical disability.
And in turn, it really is not a disability if you're leading a very nutritional, healthy lifestyle. Think about it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
yeah.
your confident disposition and positive outlook on life has a lot to do with the shape you're in, Lynn. You know, I mean, it takes a certain kind of breed of person to compete in a triathlon, let alone a Kona triathlon. I have some friends, good friends that are triathletes, just coming at me hard. Do one. They'll train for one. I can run. I can bike. I'm definitely afraid of swimming. Okay. Simply because I'm not a good swimmer. And ocean water swimming, open water swimming just does not appeal to me. I sink really quickly. And they've all told me, no, you got to train for it. You got to do this or that.
Yeah.
So that in of itself tells me that since you've done it, you're a tough cookie. You're disciplined.
Well, I am.
You know what I mean? So that has a lot to do with who you are. Now, anyway, so food, behavior, all tied together. I'm an emotional eater. I love food. It makes me feel good. And it takes discipline to, make sure you feel good and feel right. 53 this year. You're 30. Start thinking about this question. Are you going to be equal to or greater than you are right now every 5 years? That is a serious question you want to ask yourself. All right.
That's a serious question to ask all ourselves who's ever listening to this podcast and who wants inspiration from Mel and I, and are we going to be physically fit when we get older, or are we going to let ourselves find me? I'm going to be physically fit when I get older. And yes, with this health scare, it taught me that I should be physically fit because eventually they would have to rebuild my spine. Well, the stronger I go in, the better off I will be because my bones are now brittle enough. So the stronger I go in, the better off I will be. The healthier I eat, the better off I will be going in to these surgeries because we're dealing with brittle bones and scoliosis and brittle spine. And I know it's brittle. They haven't told me that for sure, but I know it's brittle because it's been fused for 10 years and almost 11 years now. And so I just think it is better for you guys if you eat healthy. And the parents out there will say, well, my kid doesn't eat healthy. My kid doesn't eat healthy. And then teachers out there will say to me, Lynn, you're nuts because you go to the gym. I see you at the gym and you're living this active lifestyle. How do you do it? Just do it in small proportions. And I think Mel is going to echo that. Start small with small baby steps, and then we'll live a lot longer and have a lot less garbage on the planet.
I couldn't agree with you more. Baby steps lead the big ones. There's a saying to the effect of small incremental changes lead to massive results later on. I mean, that sounds a whole lot like compound interest, right? You can't achieve something great later if you're constantly interrupting the momentum. So start small. Find something that you enjoy to do. Exercise should be enjoyable. Find a nutritional method that works for you. Do it. You know, you are not getting any younger. You're getting older.
No, nor am I.
You just got to decide how are you going to age and how are you going to either accelerate or decelerate that. And in your case, Wynn, since you don't have the physicality to train per se from a localized and isolated basis physically, it would behoove you to make sure that whatever you put in your mouth and feed your body is going to improve and stay on point for every aspect of your body, whether it's your digestive system, whether it's your brain function, whether it's the current muscular contractions you can physically do right now. Everything matters. Okay? If I could say that to you and just scare the daylights out of you, good. But it's more for disciplinary and practical, logical reasoning. Everything you eat right now, Wynn, matters. There is an inevitability that's going to happen in the future, and the further you invest deeper and intently and purposefully, nutritionally, the better off your recovery is going to be, and the quality of your life is going to drastically improve. That's it. That's you now.
Yes.
Okay?
That's it, and I definitely agree with you. Be careful what you stick in your mouth, and I know I know you guys love Starbucks, and I love Starbucks, but Starbucks on a daily basis. I should probably give up coffee because when I was having an echocardiogram the other day, yes, I got my heart checked. They go, "Do you realize you have skipped heartbeats?" And I said, "No, not really." And they go, "How much coffee do you drink?" And I said, a cup a day. I admitted to the person who was doing the echocardiogram, and she goes, "Well, you probably should stop that just so your heart can slow down, because caffeine," and I thought about it on the way home, caffeine actually raises your heartbeat up. And so in June, I'm going to slowly but surely eliminate my caffeine, which that's a good thing that they told me. And by June 1st, I'm going to eliminate my caffeine, which will probably help me in the long run because it's affecting my heart now. And of course, when I was thinking about this surgery, I'm like, what else is affecting my body that I'm eating now? So they told me about my heart, and they said it happens to most people with the foods we eat and the caffeine we drink. So the next time you're at the doctor's and getting an EKG or an echocardiogram, just be aware of that. Just be aware of that. I didn't realize that coffee can do skip heartbeats, but just be aware of that. That's my medical piece of advice for the day, now that we're talking about food and what we eat. And so I would say when the doctor asks you for an EKG or asks you for an echocardiogram, get one, because your heart is very, 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 very important. And what you eat
it's very important.
is very, very important. And so, Mel, how would you like to close out this episode?
Well, there's always that saying, you are what you eat, right? Yes and no. The choices you make are far more important. You just have to really kind of ask yourself, what kind of quality of life do I want? And if anything that I put in my mouth determines that, I better make some better choices. We're all going to be, something's going to befall all of us. The statistics are just against us, whether it's cancer, heart disease, diabetes, whatever the case may be. It's all tied to some sort of inflammation, and there is a nutritionally holistic way to battle that. There really is. Whether you have little to no to maximum exercise in your lifestyle, doesn't matter. Eat right, make good choices, find a system that works for you. If you don't know how, ask. Are you going to be equal to or greater than you are now 5 years from now and every 5 years after? Right?
Yeah.
That's the serious question you want to be asking yourself, because the two parts that improve that are your physical output, ergo exercise, and your daily intake, ergo your nutrition. That's what I'm going to be with. There you go.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm going to healthier as I turn 30. Yikes. And as I said, I'm going to try to put myself on a non-caffeine diet. And I gave up Coke, so I think coffee's the next step. And so we'll see. We'll see if Wynn can do it. But I know Wynn has accountability buddies out there that can chill me on. And I just want to tell you guys, again, thank you for listening to this podcast, and thank you for all the nice words and notes about my non-back surgery, which when it happens, I will let you know, as I said. But right now, I'm up, I'm walking, I'm moving. And so that's the other part. You got to be up, you got to be walking, you got to be moving, and just be careful what you put into your mouth, and then we'll make this world a happier place. When you agree now?
Absolutely. Thank you for bringing up this really important topic, and totally awesome when that you are out and about doing your thing and living a great life. Absolutely.
Well, I appreciate that, and I just want everyone to know that you're not alone in your disabilities. There's so many support groups out there, and there's me out there too. So just come and ask all of us if you need help with your diet, and then if you need help, if I can't help you, I will send you over to someone that can. I email. And so I can help you, Mel can help you, or just find a nutritionist in your local area, or maybe we can bring a nutritionist on to talk about the disabled aspect of healthy eating. And so I hope that you guys are enjoying this podcast. And as we said, please let us know if we can help you in any other way with the topics we discussed. And Mel, should people Facebook you? Is that the best way to get a hold of you?
Absolutely. You know, I've got to, it's funny you say Facebook. I've got to purge some of my list. I've got 5,000 people on there, and I can honestly tell you I'm not outreaching to 5,000 people. But you can reach me on Facebook Messenger, Mel Martin, and also via email, contact melmartin@gmail.com, exactly how it sounds. And go to my website, www.mybestfitness.us. I would love to hear from you. Give us some topics. Let's talk about some stuff that's important to you. Until next time.
Until next time, you guys, and please give us some topics. You guys know where to find me. I hang out on Twitter. That is Wynn Kelly, Kelly Charles, and that information could be found in the show notes along with my interview information, the interviews I give to people. And then if Mel and I if you guys want specific topics, please reach out to me, and please just give us specific topics you want to hear about, and then we'll take it from there. Thanks to you guys.
Take care now.